Now I have a lot of hours in Path of Exile, but when it comes to Path of Exile 2, yeah, not so many. So with the absolutely juicy release of patch 0.5, I decided that it was time to change that. I want to play something new, something unknown, and whatever the hell Mark Roberts was doing here really tickled my tainted orbs. So we're going to log in, pick Monk, and give it an appropriate name for what I just witnessed. We run through the opening area until we find our first skill gem, Falling Thunder. We then use the skill to do the fanciest of twirls and take down the bloated Miller. In town, we're given a skill gem for our efforts, which we use to grab Contagion. Contagion will inflict a disease on an enemy, which will then spread to nearby enemies whenever I kill the original target, giving me just a little bit of early clear speed. We tell an old lady to chill out, smack a danger noodle, and put down Wish.com Iron Man. And with all that done, we're able to free the hooded guy from the original PoE 2 trailer, as well as pick up the Wind Blast skill gem. Now that we have Wind Blast, everything feels so much better. It's twice as fast to attack with and almost has double the range of Falling Thunder. Wind Blast builds up huge amounts of stun on enemies but can't actually trigger the stun, so I can use Wing Blast with a talisman weapon swap to trigger it, which will also generate power charges. I can then spend those power charges on Falling Thunder, which causes additional lightning projectiles to fire out, causing a huge blast of damage. I've just come to a tough realization. I need my MTX on, but I can't use my iconic set, since we're in PoE 2 and it doesn't exist here yet. So instead, I got the incredible vampiric looking Blood Reaver supporter pack. And then I used the points from that pack to become a crab. It's my video and you cannot stop me from doing this. I've added Herald of Ash to the build, and suddenly my clear speed has become so good. We can wipe out packs of 20 plus mobs in a single Wing Blast. And I'm also just crushing bosses. You just need to build up the stun, hit them with a Wing Blast, and then fire off a Falling Thunder to absolutely delete their save file. We've reached a high enough level to be able to swap to Hollow Palm. This pretty much means that we can use a quarterstaff skill without the need of a pesky weapon, since my damage will scale from the skill gem's level now instead. It also means we now want to focus on evasion energy shield gear, since it will buff our attack speed and crit. Holy, goodbye Executioner! We've reached the final boss of Act 1, and on the first attempt we send him to Doggy Heaven, where all good boys roam, and we move on to Act 2. Here, we tear through packs and bosses alike with this insanely strong setup. We also find this offer for a few different unique types. I was tempted by the gloves due to the martial artist ascendancy that makes gloves insanely powerful, but I chose boots, since I won't be taking that ascendancy for a while. And these suck. Iron Reflexes converts all of your evasion to armor, which is pretty nice for the campaign and won't affect my Hollow Palm, but 10% move speed is just too low to make them worth wearing. We carry on and kill Barbala and Jamun Ra, unlocking our first trial of Ascendancy. This trial is essentially a sanctum from PoE 1, where we fight through a series of rooms with different objectives that can both reward us with buffs or curse us with debuffs. We work our way through the trial pretty efficiently, eventually reaching the final boss of the challenge, Rattlecage, who just falls over like every other boss who dares catch these hands. This allows us to finally become what we were truly meant to be, a martial artist. For our first ascendancy, Way of the Stone Fist is maybe the smart option. I'm not really sure since it's so early in the league and this is all new to the game, and I really don't have any data to go from. I'm kinda just making this up while checking out what others are doing. Hollow Form technique is definitely the more enjoyable option though, so I think we're gonna lean towards that instead. So, I need to support Hollow Form with an attack, and right now it seems like there's only two good options in front of me. Glacial Cascade or Vaulting Impact. Glacial Cascade would be nice to build up some freeze on enemies, but Vaulting Impact just seems far more reliable in terms of hitting entire packs. Plus it's more martial artisty, so I'm going to go with that until I can get my spinny boys up and running. Oh boy, this is fun. Like it's stupidly satisfying. And this is the absolute worst this build is going to be. I still need to get the right skill, fix the movement speed while channeling, and generate power charges to triple the amount of images that I create. Holy, am I excited for this build. The only real issue here is speed. It's the only thing stopping this from being maybe the most fun leveling build I've ever played. The channel just punishes your move speed so badly. I do have some ideas to fix this issue later on though, when we have access to more talent points and gear. Look at this epic duel with Torgal. A real nail biter of a boss fight right here. We can now move on to Jamun Ra 2, Desert Boogaloo. And with the help of a mana flask that regens charges over time, we're able to push through the huge health bar he has and move on to Act 3. Isn't this that monkey everyone's always terrified of? That wasn't too hard. I don't know what you're all complaining about. I'm adding Killing Palm into the build. I can use this to flicker strike between enemies when they're on low health, instantly killing them and generating more power charges. I can use these power charges to summon additional images on my hollow form, which will massively increase my damage. We have an unfortunate run-in with the Chimera, which results in us gaining access to our second trial of Ascendancy. The second trial bases itself from the Ultimatum mechanic from PoE 1, making us pick from major debuffs between each floor. We have a bit more trouble here. My build is squishy since it relies on evasion, and the packs of enemies can randomly hurt a lot. It takes us 3 attempts to reach the boss, but when we do, I just stay one level above him and he kinda just doesn't know what to do about it. GGG, you might want to get on this. And with that, we gain access to our second Ascendancy, which we put into Way of the Stone Fist. This will transform whatever gloves we equip to give huge stats that are a bit more relevant to the martial artist. We're going to be using Noctonial Caress. These gloves generate charges for your allies on hit, but since the images that we summon inherit all of our gear, they're also going to be wearing these gloves, meaning that they're going to be generating charges for us on hit. This is going to be our primary source of power charges in this build. I specifically remember my first playthrough of PoE 2 on its release. I was a summoner and this Blackjaw guy absolutely fiddled me for 45 minutes straight. Aha! The fiddled has become the fiddler. Apologies, I got a bit emotional there. Weirdly enough, I remember this boss being extremely easy, and yet he's almost dropped me twice. But we handled him, and yoinked his soul core for our favourite time-travelling loot lady, Alva, which she uses to open up the Matland waterways. We then continue our progress through Act 3 until we find a level 11 skill gem, meaning we can finally unlock Whirling Assault and truly get the Ballerina Summoner going.
Jesus, this is so much better.
Look at her drop! This was another boss that ruined me when the game first came out, and this build just made it an absolute joke. It would appear that the build is so good that the game couldn't even handle it and had to kick me out. Editor Tanjar here. This continued to happen every 20 minutes, right up until I'm saying these words. For the love of God, somebody, please tell me how to fix this bug. Come on, Doriani, do you see these damage numbers? How about you just pipe down and let me into Act 4, yeah? We enter Act 4 and start by finding a caged up old Kalguran lady. Now, I only know 2 things about Kalgurans, and it's that they love money and are very tricksy, so her quest is definitely a scam. I'll probably end up having to invest in some crappy startup business of hers. You mean her lies? I knew this was just a marketing trick. Okay, let's free her. There it is. Let me guess, you want me to invest into your new crypto? Delirium, dude. You have a crypto? Progress through Act 4 is incredibly smooth now that we have Whirling Assault. Packs barely even slow me down now, and bosses just melt before me. I almost wish I was a little bit weaker just to enjoy the campaign story a bit better. Oh, is that a statue of the goddess? I literally just used that exact model in my last video. Maybe my next ascendancy points are coming. I've also just found a giant Karui baby. This is so fucking cursed.
Goo goo gaga.
Holy shit, is that Navali? Holy shit, I forgot what her voice sounded like. She was my hideout vendor for like 7 years straight. I've missed you. We continue on, battling through the trials of the ancestors to satisfy the Karui god of death. Hinako... Ooh, monkey. Whoa, bigger monkey. Not gonna lie to you guys, I have no idea what the hell is going on here. I think one of my boat homies betrayed me? To whoever these people are? I'm trying to follow the story, I swear. That's a big beam. A larger than average beam. Torvian clearly found the Hammer of Dawn unique. We keep progressing and kill off high fantasy Benedict Cumberbatch. Holy shit, that was cool. Holy shit, get fucked, Keanu. Oh, come on, man. You just did maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen, and now you're gonna go and get cocky and nick the super mega weapon? You should have stayed chill, Tavakai. You could have been an icon. And that's Act 4 done. Now it's time to assemble an army to take the fight to the beast. We do this through 3 short mini acts. So first off, we'll head back to Ogham to kill the Thane and his lady so that the Ezramites will join us. Then we'll return to the sands of Vastiri to assist Asala in finding the missing buyer to unify the Maraketh. And finally, we'll head to Mount Cryer. On our journey here, we've picked up a charge regulation aura gem, rewarding us with massive buffs for having power, frenzy and endurance charges. These charges are incredibly easy for me to sustain thanks to my Stone Fist Ascendancy modified Loctonial Caress gloves, so this aura is just perfect for me. We also found this old guy meditating who hands out 3 uniques.
You're not that guy, pal, trust me. You're not that guy.
We finish up Mount Cryer by bringing Doriani's hidden army to our cause, and then speak to the Hooded One to begin our final assault.
Unthinkable took place. We were too late.
Wait, what?
My worst fears have come to pass.
What do you mean?
Is consumed by madness once more.
So assembling that army was pointless? Well, all of our forces got fucked off camera, and it appears that that's the end of the campaign. All of the future story will be either done in maps or released in future patches. So, it's finally time to dive into some maps and make some money. If you're enjoying the video, then remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out more than you could imagine. Also, I recently made a Discord server, as well as a Twitter account, so if you want to join and hang out, or just want a place to see any updates from me, then check those out. It's my second map of the league, and I've already found my absolute best friend home slice for life, Aelith. 1 million Hiveblood versus the Tree PoE 2 edition, anybody? I should probably also buy some upgrades now that I'm done with the campaign. So I'll start by picking up this body armor with high evasion and energy shield, as well as some life and resistance, which I'll socket 2 iron runes into. Then I'll buy up this helmet where literally every mod is great, which I'll socket a fire res rune into. And lastly, I'll grab this ring for more flat damage, res, life and dex. And now we can get back to mapping. Right now, I'm just clearing through the maps and making my way towards the main story objectives. And while chasing the main story objectives, we've managed to get a cutscene where we have pissed off an entire city. I mean literally the city. So we visit the walls of the city to say sorry, but instead we're fired up an elevator where we accidentally free Techrod, one of the biggest names in Abyssal lore. Good job us. About 5 maps ago, I found the hideout of the hunter Hilda, where she taught me the ancient art of hunting great beasts. From what I understand, this is a new mechanic this league, so I'm trying it out. That's one great beastie dead. Einhar would be proud. Oh, but Einhar never offered me fancy buffs to all my maps like this. 15% more rare enemies in every map, count me in. Hey, that's my first divine of PoE 2. Sadly they broke the tink noise this league, so no happy brain juices, but that's still some nice money regardless. I've also made it to the Monastery of the Keepers. If you're not too familiar with my channel, well, I really like Breach, so I fully intend to make that the main league mechanic that I farm. So, we'll continue farming through maps, picking up all of the Breach talent points that we can, as well as identifying any items that may be of value and selling a few of them for a little bit of money. And after enough items are sold, we use that money to buy a new amulet with +2 melee skills, dex, some resistance, and a bunch of mana. The reason we wanted so much mana on this amulet is because we're going to anoint it with a concentrated liquid fear and 2 diluted liquid ires, giving us the Well of Power notable passive. This grants us 20% crit bonus if we've spent a power charge recently, so always, but also recovers 5% of our max mana every time we spend a power charge. With the huge amount of flat mana I just got on this amulet, this will pretty much do all of the heavy lifting for my mana sustain. We also added the Ghost Dance aura to our build, which gives us a percentage of our evasion as energy shield whenever we get hit, while also adding the heightened charges and magnified area 2 supports to our main attack setup. This will give us a 20% chance to summon even more images and will massively increase their AoE. I think I might want to aim for rings with my Hiveblood. From what I can tell so far, rings are incredibly valuable and not too hard to hit. I've sold multiple just on the basis of them having decent flat damage rolls with another good modifier. Plus later on I can get a bunch of breach rings which might make some kind of jackpot item with the Flesh Flower Atlas passive. Oh, this is definitely a big ring. Let's try and craft this into something massive. We'll start by using a Greater Exalted Orb to slam a higher tier modifier onto it. Intelligence isn't too bad. Everyone always needs attributes, and builds that want flat damage to attacks often need int specifically. Next up, I'll desecrate the ring using a Preserved Collarbone. This will allow me to reveal a desecrated mod from the Well of Souls that we found in Act 2. At the Well of Souls, I'll activate an Omen of the Sovereign to guarantee that the mod I reveal is an Ulaman mod, since I checked PoEDB and his mods seem to be the best options here. Then I can put the ring in and reveal. these aren't Ulaman mods. Well, at least All-Res is extremely good. Ah, I see what's happened here. I was meant to use this omen before desecrating the item. It seems like they just changed this league, because this omen used to trigger when you revealed the desecration. It is what it is. All-Res is extremely good and is going to make my item pop up way more on the trade site than if I had had one of the Ulaman mods. So it might sell for a little less, but it will sell much easier. Just from a quick price check, it seems to be worth around 25 to 30 divines. I'll post it up for 28 divines and slowly lower the price every few hours. What an amazing proof of concept for my strat of targeting rings. So, we've spent some time farming currency, got pretty much all the important breach talent points, and have a decent set of gear going. There's only one thing left for us to do now in this episode, and that's get our third set of ascendancy points. For that, we're going to need to head back to the Trial of the Sekimas. Except this time, there isn't just one floor to complete, there's 3. 3 floors worth of trials and 3 final bosses for us to take down to be awarded with our precious talent points. Floor 1 goes great. We tear through it and get some incredible boons.
Whose boon? Your boons?
Floor 2 goes well too, with me only taking a minor scratch on the floor and a small hit from the boss. Floor 3 goes great, up until the boss, when I almost screw it up from not knowing the mechanics, but luckily our damage carried us and we were able to pick up the hollow focus technique ascendancy, meaning I now spawn bells around me that will blow up when hit, dealing damage and building stun up on nearby enemies. I can then link this new hollow focus skill to Blind 2, Cooldown Recovery 2, Culling Strike 2, and Magnified Area 2 to make it the ultimate passive support ability. And with that, we can wrap up episode 1. We've completed the campaign, worked out a nice strat with Breach, farmed up a bit of money, and got our third ascendancy. In the next episode, we'll continue working our way through the Atlas, transition out of Hollow Palm into a quarterstaff, and try to get our final ascendancy points. Thanks for watching, guys, and an extra special thanks to Ghost, Peekz, Barcode, and Fírnen. These are my mates who I hung out with on Discord while playing, and without them around to answer my 50 questions per hour, figuring out this game would have taken way longer. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, check out my Discord and Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.